So, hello everybody, and I like to welcome my dear friend and colleague for so many years, Schadde from Munich. And I'm very happy and very excited that Anne, you also agreed to be interviewed about the beginning of the sensation method. When did it actually start, and how did it start, and was there a frustration, or was there a need for something new? I remember it was the end of the change of the millennium and a very time of many changes. So what can you remember, Anna?
Oh yes, it was very necessary to have a kind of change or to develop something new. As you know, I learned homeopathy in the 80s, between 80 and 90. So in this time we really learned the trade. We learned the skills. We learned to be a master with the trade. But as I know already, and in the beginning of the 90s already, I was reading in the organon that Hahnemann told us to be a physician or a therapist, but to become an artist. So I wondered, how do we become an artist? Only with repertory? Only with the understanding we had up to that moment? In this situation, I began with my first proving ozone in order to understand how to get to be in, how to get to that point to deal in homeopathy or to work with patients in the artist way of life. So, and then finally, well, it grew. I was in India by that time. I was very much impressed of the understanding of the Indian homeopaths because they got more into this kind of artistic understanding of the patient and in the artistic understanding of the substances or of our remedies.
So,
So
if I understand right, it was the time when you were like all very well trained in locals and symptoms and in the repertory and learning keynotes and things like that, and to know the remedies about that. But as you bring in that term, Anne, is the artistic approach or art in a way of deeper understanding, right?
mhm. The
So,
question is, what is art? What is art? This question I was wondering. I mean, first of all, the art is understanding of the skills. You have to know what you are doing. It's not a fantasy, but in order to make art grow, you need some fantasy too. You need some imagination too. You need something what is unusual too. You need something what is special for you too. So and this already made me going into another direction. Yeah. So and then in the 90s we changed from the delusion to the sensation. We had first of all delusions, prescriptions, etc. And so homeopathy is not something what is fixed. It is in evolution. It's part of the evolution too. It will come even more into the world after this crisis now, because after this crisis, we need to understand the deeper part of the soul of human beings. So, and in that moment, I was very impressed of the beginning of the sensation method or the understanding. It's not a method because you don't use the sensation method constantly. There, you have to adjust the patient or the case taking to what you are doing. But the most beautiful prescription I ever had are were the prescriptions after understanding sensation method, after going deeper into it.
so if you if we stay with this term or topic about the artistic approach, means there's also a way to get deeper into the stories, to find a deeper understanding of both the physical part of the human being, but also his mental state, and bring it together somehow.
Yes,
So
sure.
this is what I can see, the artistic way of coming from the locals to the generals to the mental picture, so but that everything we understand as a whole, as a like a global understanding somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, as I used to say, is we have only uh, remedies available which were potentized, etc., and diluted, etc., until the spirit is free, until we free the spirit out of the substance, let's say it like this. Yeah, we free the spirit. Yeah. So in order to adjust similar to similar, we have to free the spirit from the symptoms too. The symptoms the patient is telling us. The symptoms or the emotions, the delusions, the emotions, the symptoms, and they all are bound. The spirit is expressing through symptoms, emotions, delusions. And we have to understand the spirit of the patient with, because we have to combine this with the spirit of this of our remedies. So I mean, it was actually the need to go deeper into this process.
So a need, and also I mean I would imagine a kind of, yeah, frustration for what was there so far. And as you said, there is a kind of development and evolution. And as we can see today, now it's grown so much, and yeah, we have a very round system now with understanding of the sources. We can define the kingdoms very well now, and that was, I guess, in the beginning of the millennium, it was different. No? It was only growing, this understanding of the kingdoms, defining kingdoms. It was only coming up. But is there a memory you have, Anna, to something when you had your first journey to Mumbai, or your first encountering with some of those which we would call the founders of the method, Rajan, Jaish, this so-called Bombay group. So what is one of your first little stories? Because you're so full of wonderful experiences and stories, Anna.
I
Maybe
mean, this
this.
was in the 80s, at the end of the 80s, when I made the first experience.
Yeah.
I was in the school and was together with Sankaran in his school where he was teaching, and there was we saw a patient who was oh, he was driving a kind of cart in the streets, barefoot, as you know, yeah. And he had a terrible pain in his chest. He came with pain in his chest. He could even handle his work anymore. But what has happened before? He lost his daughter after the marriage, and it had cost such a lot of money to to spend the money for the marriage, for the celebration. So, and then he lost the daughter, no grandchild has come, etc. So he was very much in grief, and this was expressed here. Yeah. And he said, my chest, you can't even uh, touch my chest here. After 2 minutes of the interview, Rajan Sankaran said, okay, you know the remedy? Oh, ho, ho. The students went with this, with a patient into another room. And after a couple of hours, they came back and they had almost uh, different remedies, different ideas. But then Sankaran said, this is a very easy case. Pain in chest was touching ailments from loss of money. You can even repertorize this. And this guy even has a job what shows his remedy because he's driving a car. Yeah. The remedies was Annika. And he got Annika 10M, and I saw the follow up. He was immediately better. So by that in that moment, it was at the beginning of the 90s. I believe it was either 91 or 89. So I said, oh, this is something what is very important to to relax and understand the whole story. So we can't say only the sensation method was the beginning. The beginning was already before. And after that, I did the proving of ozone. Yeah. And I in 1997, no, 97, I presented a case of ozone where this patient had this terrible smell problems, but then it reminded him to the past, and we ended up in childhood where he had wanted to smell himself. So and so I understand already the how it all works together, and this is something we have to learn. But then, at the beginning of the millennium, Sankran made the method, made it as a method so that we can see it more clearly, yeah, more theory behind it. Hmm. And even in 2007 in Heidelberg, yeah, I tried I tried to cut out of all my old video cases from the 90s without the sensation method. I cut out all the small parts where I could see the sensation already in the 90s, but I did not understand it. But since the remedy was right, I admit only the cases which I have shown already in the 90s, which were successfully treated, but the successfully treated patients you could understand through the sensation method, and this I liked very much. I presented it 2007 with, I mean, 10 cases from the old ages, yeah,
I
from the
remember this very well, Anne, because I was
yeah.
also part of the audience in Heidelberg and I
Mhm.
saw your clips and it was beautifully done. So, I mean, this is fantastic to hear because we could actually say the sensation method is much older, or it's actually the, maybe we could call it the deep homeopathy. Yeah, when you reach a deep understanding and you work out, you carve out all the, yeah, the striking parts in a story in an artistic way, as you name it. And so you did it already much earlier, but now it got a more like a structure or a system, or we could name it now. Yeah, when we look back, we could see, ah, yeah, you had an entrance point in level one with the name of the disease, and then you go further up, yeah, to the modalities, and then you get to the emotions, and then you get to the delusion, and then you get to the even more artistic part, which is then the sensation. Yeah.
Yes, right. And this is the structured part, as you call it, is more teachable. Yeah. Only with structure you can teach it. Otherwise, it's kind of intuition. That's why I said art or to be an artist means you have to know the skills, you have to know what you're doing. Not, yeah, as we say, intuition is knowledge. Intuition is not something what just comes from heaven and comes down. It is knowledge. You have to know it what you're doing. And so I like it very much. I like it very much that there was actually a kind of training in sensation method.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Great. So, and you were following from very the beginning on these trainings, and you also, I mean, you brought Sankaran to Munich, you organized there, and you still involved in that with Jürgen Hansel from Munich. You brought him to the Krankenhaus für Naturheilweisen, where he's still teaching till today. And this is very impressive because, I mean, I was interviewing Maish the other day, Maish Gandhi, and he said the truth will stay. Yeah, we can have these ideas in the beginning, but if they're not true, they won't last. But this is already a great heritage which we can have now to look back for so many years where something is growing and we can see what is working and what doesn't work.
Right, right. That's why I made the confirmation with the old cases. I mean, this is very important that we have it grounded. We are not somewhere in the air. We are very grounded. May I tell you, the first case I had after Rajan gave us the real method understanding, even if I have done it already years ago, but the real method, the tools, in a way.
Fantastic. Tell us that case, Anna.
It was a patient. She was married but couldn't get pregnant. It was difficult. I tried all the remedies from the female side, etc. You know what we all do, CPR, etc. In the 90s. What in the 90s? Now the children are studying. So you mean finally she did not get pregnant in the 90s. Even she had the right husband. Everything was okay. One evening I came home from Sankaran seminar, and she was on my answering machine and saying, "Oh my God, can you please call me back? I have such a severe cystitis. I mean, you have to imagine. I tried already to prescribe for the cystitis for years, yeah, without understanding it. So again, so I said I will give it a try. Tell me. I phoned on the phone. Tell me what is. She said it's a sore pain. It's a very sore pain. Okay, tell more about sore pain. Oh, I could cry with a sore pain. Okay, tell more about crying. Now I know. I went from the symptoms to the emotion. Okay, she said, it's sore as if it is a wound. Okay, now I know. Now I am in the delusion. Where is the wound? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
it's a wound. Tell me about your wound. I mean, already the understanding, the step-by-step understanding made her think more. Where is the wound? The wound is in my belly. I said, okay. And tell me, where is the pain of the cystitis? Oh, she said, oh yeah, strange. It's the wound in my belly, but there is, yeah. She stopped because she is a physiotherapist. She knew that this is a kind of strange. Huh? And then she said, I mean, she began to laugh. Yeah. And she said, like to put a kind of ointment on the wound. I said, to where? Oh, she said, oh, ointment. Yeah, okay. I can't tell you where. So in that moment, I understood this is something very strange, very, very strange. She she had a wound in the belly and wanted to put a kind of ointment on it. So I said, tell me about a wound with ointment. She stopped, began to cry. And then she told me that at the age of 14, she was pregnant from a school a fellow, and mother has brought her immediately to hospital, and she said they tore the the fetus out of my womb. They tore it out. Now, when you don't go, I didn't go into that because what is a remedy for tearing something out? An ointment, an understanding. It's like in that moment I understood it was something happened to her, the composite, that she got injured, and her feeling in the cystitis was a kind of wound which needed an ointment. And how did it happen? It happened immediately. She said, mother even didn't tell me. I had no clue what is going to happen. We went to the hospital. They put me onto this chair and they tore it out. This was her imagination. We don't know whether it is really true or not, but this is not interesting at all.
So now you got even a
It was,
miasmatic confirmation, right?
yeah, her inner state was that it happens like
Yeah.
this. This for me is very important, that the inner state of the sensation is important,
Mm-hmm.
even if you can't confirm it through reality. This is art. Yeah. Art, sometimes you can't, when you see a picture, often it's not the reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's something, it's not the delusion. This is a difference between the delusion and the sensation. The inner part, the inner story is the sensation. The inner, how you sense something, this is a sensation. So, and I prescribed very easy, family of the composite, an acute remedy, which a kind of ointment which has to, the fetus was torn out, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
zack, boom, yeah. And so I prescribed calendula. And half a year later, she was pregnant now. And then afterwards, another child. So everything. And, she only needed calendula.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is,
Have you ever prescribed for cystitis calendula, Jürgen?
no.
Oh.
Beautiful. I mean, the bladder infection was the starting point, and it's so beautiful to listen to that, Anna, because this was the entry, the local feeling, yeah, the local, and then you stay there, you let the patient describe what it feels like, what the modalities are, and then she gets to the as if sensation, yeah, or as if feeling in the level 4, and then she gets to this wound or injury feeling where she wants to treat it like with something to put on it, yeah, like a cream or ointment, and beautiful, yeah, and then you get
The
even,
sensation, she was in this
yeah,
in a way.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so it's not sometimes not easy to assess to differentiate the sensation to the delusion to the sensation. The sensation, the delusion is comes from here, from mind, and the sensation comes from the physical body and the inner state of the physical body, from the artistic part of, and the artistic part is something strange too. Yeah.
yeah,
So I learned through all the cases. I have plenty of cases now, as you can imagine,
mm,
where sensation method worked perfectly.
mm,
Yeah.
great. So, and when we go back to the evolution of also that system, we had these families, we have still these families with remedies in it, and you have also gone further. You have dare to use your own mind and to try out things, because if you have a good sensation, sometimes there are remedies missing in a family, or we have remedies where we have no confirmation so far. But as I remember your work from our last congresses, where we also had new remedies in well-known families, or you even had, I remember you have located a remedy which was in a different family before into another family. Yeah, so this is the beauty, I think, of a method. When it evolves, it has to be practically confirmed. Yeah, you have to sit there with your patient and see what works for you every day. Yeah, and this is what you are so good in, and also to link your work is, you see all sorts of clients, but you also have a lot of psychological background, because the psychotherapy aspect is important for you, but in a practical way to see how can I apply the remedies that they carve out the deepest story behind it.
Yeah, true. True, true. But what I often see is that we miss often the entrance point. Yeah. But afterwards, one of the reasons why I prefer to see videos, there you can see often the entrance point, but you see it only backward. If you understand the whole case, you can see everything in it. And this is very reliable. So we can confirm we can confirm the remedies, even the remedies in repertory. Another short example, what comes to me now is
Mm-hmm.
a mother calls me, the girl, a baby girl. She had a cataract, yeah, uh, already by birth, and at the age of 7 months they operated the child,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to, yeah, it was very necessary. After the operation, the doctors bound the arms and legs together of the baby because the baby should not swipe the eyes or put into the fist into the eyes because the eyes were just operated. Yeah, what can you do? So you put the legs and the arms together,
Fixated.
fixated it, right.
Yeah.
So mother calls me now after 6 or 8 weeks. The doctor said, okay, now we can let the child get out of the fixation. But now she's saying the girl doesn't move. Now, she's now 9 months old, and she does not move. Before she went into the operation, she could move. She could turn herself to the belly and back, etc. Very vivid. Well, but she does not move at all. What to do? Yeah, what to do now? I said, tell more about the child. The mother says, now the child has to get contact lenses into the eyes. We have to put her the contact lenses into the eye, yeah, but she doesn't want it because it's something she hates. And when we finally have the contact lenses put into the eyes, in that moment, the child throws them out so that the contact lenses jump through the whole room. Oh. So, but she does not move. She is laying there completely stiff, no movement at all. So, what to do here? What to do here? How to understand this, the complete thing? Yeah. So, what I did, I looked into repertory. Yeah. What did the girl do? The girl did as if mother has put her foreign substance into her eyes. There is a rubric under generalities: foreign body, expulsion of fish bones and needles, expulsion of the fish bones. And there I saw 4 remedies in it: Anagallis, Hepasalve, Lobelia, and Silica.
She's
So
well known.
silica, okay, this girl didn't know need silica. Yeah, lobelia, okay, I did not know Hepasalve, okay, but I saw Anagallis, and there I saw where does it belong to? Because you can even go backward with the sensation method. Anagallis belongs to the family of the Primulaceae, and they are unable to move. They are stuck. Yeah, they are not moving, but the compensation is happy in a small space. Yeah, this is what mother said. This girl is very nice. She's very happy. Lays in bed, she smiles, etc., but does not move. Instead of her muscles, her eye muscles, were able to move to throw out the contact lenses. So we gave this. I didn't even have this remedy. We we ordered Anagalis and we gave it to her. And guess what happened? She began to move and the contact lenses stayed into her eyes. I mean, this already is, it was so wonderful to confirm the the substance or the source already or the sensation even afterwards. I mean,
Exactly.
we have to balance it out. As I say,
Mm.
art is a kind of game. We have to play with homeopathy,
Mm.
but in a serious way. So it was a kind of playing. So I have plenty of this playing cases because
Mm.
you have to understand first everything,
Mm.
and then it can be found everywhere
Great.
in nature, in repertory, in life.
Fantastic. And as I can hear, is you have like you had a sensation of that family, the primula, no family, primulacea, and then you see a remedy which you haven't known so far, anagalis. And I mean, this is for me also the beauty of a more holistic system where we integrate more plants and understand them in a different way now. Because anagalis here in Germany, when you go outside in spring or summer, and you find it a lot, it's a beautiful tiny little plant with orange blossoms and orange flower. And but it was not so well known, was maybe not so well known in homeopathy so far.
Mhm.
And these cases where we can confirm it in a deep way, in a deep level, and also with a to see it inside a family. This is the beauty. That's why I love the sensation method so much, because there is a link now. We get it all more connected, right?
Right, but I began here with a rubric. I mean, this is very strange. So
Mm.
I would, I'd like to give all homeopaths the chance to go into all the different sides, not only into sensation. I mean, what I see in with students that they use sensation method sometimes as a kind of illusionary story. We should be very careful with it, very careful. I'm very careful in not mixing up delusions and sensations. You can prescribe for the delusion, but it wouldn't last.
Yeah, yeah.
I made the experience to prescribe for the delusion, had no idea what how to come to the sensation, but it doesn't last.
Mm.
We did, it's the same as we you prescribe for the modalities or for the disease. It can help, sure, but it doesn't last and it doesn't go that deep like the calendula did in this patient. I have prescribed almost all remedies, yeah. So
Because Yeah, because their entrance point was a clear local feeling and nothing fancy or anything, and the
yeah,
patient herself, she opened the door to this old injury which hasn't healed. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, and I have so many patients or so many cases. I can report about so many cases where the first sentence was the important sentence.
Hmm.
Then how to go deeper into it.
Yes, great. So great, Anne. That was now we heard a little bit about the beginning of your journey into the sensation method. I'm very grateful to hear those stories because it's kind of the initiation time. Yeah, because many of us or later students they might miss these points when it all began and that there was a need for it, a need for a change, to learn, to understand remedies maybe in a deeper way. But also, as I could hear from you now, how important it is to be joyful, playful in when you approach cases, and also to do it in an artistic way. And the art is always your companion that I can see.
Yeah, sure. Because only then patients can open up. If we are too strongly focused on something, then we are stuck because disease is a kind of identification with something. If we homeopaths are identified with the sensation method, I mean, then we go wrong.
And we
You
lost.
should not being identified with anything in your life. Just relax, yeah, and let the patient come.
Yeah.
And because the game, what you send out, the play, what you send out, will arrive the patient, I'm sure.
Yes.
But if your energy, I want to have this, gets out, you don't get anything into the other direction. I mean, for me, what is very important is that this is a kind of different case taking. The case taking means you're on the level of eye into eye. You are the homeopath sitting there offering the patient to tell the story eye into eye, not the doctor who is the better, the best, the experience, etc., who knows everything, and you are the little one patient who has no idea. No, the future in our life, generally spoken, not only in homeopathy, the focus in our life should be eye into eye, look into others' eyes. Be
Yes.
not up nor down, but just in the center of the existence. And this is so beautiful.
Great, Anna. Thank you so much. And I'm very curious also to see in the live part of the webinar later on your one of your latest experiences. And yeah, maybe as a last question for today, is there any, because we are still in the moment we are talking here, we are still somehow stuck in this pandemic situation, yeah, of Corona. And but is there a wish you have generally for homeopathy, or something you, when you look to the future, or an advice you want to leave for today, to leave us?
For today, I mean next May. Oh, you mean today? Okay.
Today.
Yeah, today, what I see today is this is what I said already at the beginning of the Corona crisis. I said already it's the beginning of something very new. From where do I know it? I know it because this is something very unusual that the whole world stops now. I mean, it's very strange that we are uh, all together in one moment. It's not AIDS in Africa or Ebola in where somewhere here. It's something what is going around the world. And as I always say, we homeopaths, we don't look at the symptoms and say the symptoms should not be there. You shouldn't have headache. We say, okay, what is behind the headache? That's why I'm saying, what is behind the COVID-19 disease? It's the disease, okay, I can see it is very serious, and so many people die. But what is behind it? Because in order to understand it, I have to look behind the scene, not only behind the disease, but behind the healing substance. So, and only if we can look that way, we can see the other way too.
Okay. So very, yeah, a way of looking much deeper, and also not to judge too early, or because we are still having many questions and we give lots of observations, and it's a challenge for the whole world. And what the outcome will be, might be, we don't only know in the future.
Yeah, I have some insights. I don't know whether I can tell it. You can cut it whenever you want. One of the insight is I got a kind of picture. The picture showed hard disk, which were completely open. All the wires were out of the hard disk. Were seen out of the hard disk. Though it means the cover of the wall. Our hard disk is full of rubbish, full of stories, full of everything. Yeah. But the cover was not there anymore. That's why you could see the virus. But on this hard disk was the little baby sitting, completely white, something very new. But this baby was wearing napkins. It means it didn't get hurt through the wires. And out of his mouth came some noise. I mean, a kind of aerosols, you know? You just throw something out. It was before even the whole story began in March. In that moment, I understood something very deep, that everything is open now. We can't cover up. We don't need a cover up of our old life. It is open. There is no chance at all. I tell this every day to patients now. It's open. This is what I learn now, that all my patients come with all their old stories. They are open now. But now they are in the process of being able to get healed, to get cured, to get better. Yeah? Let's say it like this. So, and because I know the new life, the new time will not be hurt by it. But something will come out of this new life. The new baby with a very white skin means nothing has touched it ever. No ray of the sun, nothing, not the world. It's not touched. It's something very new. So, and this is how I see in the last 9 months or 10 months already. Yeah, I see that patients now come and open up their complete stories. And this is beautiful to see how it is able, how people are able to uncover their own problems. And I mean, even we homeopaths have to be able to uncover what is within us.
Great. Beautiful, Anna. That's a good word to end our interview, and also I'm looking very much forward to listen more of your teaching later on. And thanks so much for your contribution. Thanks so much for the interview, and good luck with everything. And I'm curious to see what the baby will teach us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye bye.